Yo, what's good, my real Chirac gangsters? Today we are doing an updated Chief Keef discography review because my other one, next month it will be 2 years old exactly, I believe, really does not reflect my current views on the topics that I covered, and essentially they're just generally incorrect. So basically what I did was I went through the original slideshow, made it look better, I made the opinions better that I have cultivated over the past 2 years of just listening to so much Chief Keef, and if you don't believe me, you can see the unreleased and features tracker that I made. I'll link it in the description. It's a long list, and I had to listen to basically everything that I put in there. It took me about like 5 months to make. Anyways, let's get into it. Here we have his official discography ranked. So the order of this is the order of release date, and you'll see the barely visible ones at the very end of it are the official releases that I will not be covering, as Almighty, DP1 and 2, I don't even think they're on Spotify. And the Cozart recently has been taken off of Spotify. I don't know when. It's good riddance because it is genuinely awful. Not what it was even meant to be. Just like most of his albums there. It's long overdue. It wasn't even the original sound of the projects. But everything in here is what I will be covering. Let's get into it. We are starting off from lowest to highest. So of course we are starting with Autopsy. This doesn't have generally bad reviews among the fans, but with me it does. I still hate it. I mean, it's only 5 songs and they're shit. I can't bring myself to listen to them. So I'll give it a diarrhea 2 out of 10. And the best song I guess is Gang Gang. I guess it's the most tolerable for me. I can't bear to cover this any longer than I have to, so moving on. Up next is the W. It's not a 2 out of 10. It's not a 3 out of 10. We're giving it a 4 out of 10 because the W is something that I will never go and think, damn, I want to hear a song from the W right now. That's what I want to hear. No, it's not. I mean, you see the track list there. It's the most tolerable song for me is Never Had a Job, really carried by Fredo. One of my biggest problems with this album is just the cover, how it's supposed to represent like you're an action figure hanging on the shelf of a store, but it just comes off as looking like a border around it, and it doesn't. It's so bad. It's very visually unappealing. All the colors in it, sorry, colorful moolah, but I don't like it. Moving on, we're at Camp GloTiggy. Better than the W, still a doo-doo 4 out of 10. I definitely do not go back and listen to the Camp GloTiggy, but if there was a song that I would go back and listen to, it would be Fat. I love that apart from GloToven carrying the beat on Fat, I don't like this album. Controversial take by me. I still do not like Dedication. I mean, I cannot come back to this album, and I mean, all these pretty much have been 2017 or 2018 so far. Understandably, that's just how it works. I just don't see how this album sounds interesting to people. Every song on here bores me. Even Kills, which is very popular. I've always kind of wondered how it's so popular. Like, the beat's a little funky, yes, but does that make it good? I don't think it does. So when I was re-listening to it for like, I don't know, probably the 3rd time now, I found that the best song, maybe I shouldn't say it, but that was the best song. The smooth beat and the flow on that, I definitely surpasses Kills. Definitely, that's the best. But if you listen to the rest of this album, oh man, I'm sorry to all the Dedication fans out there. Call me a fake if you want, but I just will never enjoy this album, I don't think. Moving on to Nobody, just another album that I would never look up in my free time that if I want to like listen to some enjoyable music. Although, as you can see by my best song, Tato carries this album, which is shocking for me to say because who in their right mind would say Tato carried something? I don't think he really would in any song that exists except for Oh Lord. I took her to the crib, she like, oh Lord. Oh man, it's good. Anything else on this album, I literally fall asleep listening to. You know, definitely did not highlight the best of 2014. No. Snoozing 4 out of 10. Moving on. Next is 2017. Again, you never look it up, you never listen to it. At least I don't. This is just the definition of boring. Why did I even give this a 5 out of 10? I think that all the 4s and 5s out of 10 can generally be clumped up into the same description as boring, unattractive, don't want to listen to it. So yeah, that's the most tolerable song, but you know, you just skip through, anything else is garbage. Monotone 5 out of 10. Back from the Dead 3, another controversial low score from Caleb Wright. I'm sorry, just like Dedication, fans like it. I've heard people call Back from the Dead 3 the most underrated, you know, best album of recent times. But like, why would you say that, dude? I just personally cannot enjoy the sound. Booty Call's good, you know, maybe a few other ones are like, you can like listen to them, but in general, like, I'm not going to enjoy this album. And you know, the underwater sound, if you want to call it underwater, I don't like it. My bad, I shrunk my webcam too much. Anyway, it's just not good. Not a fan of that underwater sound. Up next is the Glory Road. Yes, I'm including the ones that were never officially released. You know, they're not on streaming services. How can I include them? I don't know, but it's just 2, so we're gonna deal with it. Best song here is Stay on Top. I don't even think I re-listened to this since the last Discography review. Beat on it, I like it. So I honestly don't think, as you can see by me not having mentioned Mula Express yet, that this album is as good as that. You know, sorry. Gives it a fine 5 out of 10. Nobody 2. I think the sequel is better just because it has Tony Hawk and In the Stew. Both great songs. Bitch, I'm in the stew. And Tony Hawk was one of the first Chief Keef songs in general that I had on my playlist. I played it the whole month of October 2019. All the others on here though are pretty mid, so that's why we gotta give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, finally rolling to, do I ever come back to this album? No. But when I see it and I review it, I'm always like, you know, this isn't bad. Foes, great song. You see X on the track list. Oh, it's not good, but the original X seems to me like it was, you know, over that Ray Shremmerd song. Wow, you should have bought a check, bitch. You know, so he remixed that. I love the beat to that. I even made my own song over that beat. That's how good the beat is. And he has a Where Ya At remix. I mean, I'm sure most of these are remixes. Maybe all of them, I wouldn't even know, but definitely very cool, very enjoyable. It's just that good, like at least half the songs on here just boring. We're giving this a 5 out of 10. Best song is Foes. Moving on. GloToven, still in the 5 out of 10 range. I know a lot of albums are falling in here. Best song is easily Ain't Gonna Happen. If this song didn't exist in this album wouldn't be this late into the video at all. It would be very early on. I listen to Ain't Gonna Happen regularly. It's very emotional. It makes me think about all my dead homies and how I want revenge on my own ops. Just beautiful. I know he made a tweet about that recently. I think it really adds more feeling in the song when you're listening to it. But again, this is the album review, not the song review. We gotta give it a sleepy 5 out of 10. 4Nem. I'm always like that. I'm like on 4Nem, dude. So I like the implications of the number 4 and then Nem. It really embraces how I would pronounce it. We gave this a mellow 6 out of 10. Why would you do that, Caleb? It's another album that everyone seemed to like and you're sleeping on it, just like Dedication and just like Back from the Dead 3. Yes. Because first off, I don't know how many, but a good amount of these, a few of them were already released to his YouTube. Like the best song on it, Hadouken, that was released like 7 months before the actual song dropped. Obviously, I think it's the song Bitchware that has the best reception on it. People think it's just amazing. My personal take on that is I don't know what on this album you can't find a better example of in previous albums. The thing that this album does differently to me is just the Akachi Beats, Rari producer. I'm not a fan. Sorry to those producers, but no, that's why Hadouken, which is a remix of some song by The Game or something, that's why Hadouken is my favorite. It's an old ass beat, and you know me, I'm an old head. What can I say? And like even Ice Cream Man, that reminded me about his other song, Ice Cream. And I'm like, damn, the other song's better. Like, this isn't even a better version of that. Sorry. Mellow 6 out of 10. Another side note is that the cover art's ass. Okay, I'm trying to look at this like, oh, that's a nice design that they have in those toy soldiers. I know, it's kind of nice, but that is so unappealing to my eyes, dude. Like the colors of it, green and sand color. Like what color is sand, dude? Ugly tan? I don't know. If they had something other than sand that just looked cooler, then yeah, I think I would like that better. I don't like cover art. It hurts my eyes. Mula Express. Caleb, what are you doing? You're seriously putting his very first album ahead of his latest album? Like, are you not aware of 11 years of evolution that would be between those albums? Yeah, but guess what? Maybe the rapper's first songs of the first couple years of him rapping were just better because DJ Ken. Look at him. He doesn't even look human in that cover. Oh my goodness. 100 bail. I need everyone to go listen to this song right now. It makes me emotional. And yes, I listen to it for enjoyment. A song from 2010. All the other songs on here are just also nice. That's why I gave it a nice 6 out of 10. Obviously, I'm not gonna give it much higher because of how unmixed, maybe like lengthy it is. You know, I feel like some of these go on for longer than they need to. Definitely better than what I was making at 14. Better than what I'm making now. Better than what you're making. Sorry for the wait. This is just a classic album in a lot of people's minds. I'm sorry. I still don't listen to this album in my spare time. 10 toes down.
10 toes down. I got shows and verses. I'll bring them to your town.
Amazing. The beat on that is amazing. Sosa Chamberlain, that was definitely in my playlist for some time. It's just sorry, I don't listen to it. None of these songs are bad. That's why it has a 6 out of 10. It's just most of them aren't anything great that I would listen to. Bang 3, solid 6 out of 10. Best song, Superheroes. That was hard for me to say because, you know, it does get a little old. The ASAP Rocky verse, not good. I was definitely debating putting Ain't Missing You, maybe Green Light on here. In the end, I had to pick Superheroes as the best song. Not an album that I generally listen to, though I did notice the stems for Green Light and Go Harder both leaked recently. So I gave us the instrumental to Green Light unheard until now. Bang 3 Part 2, solid 6 out of 10. I would rate this better than Bang 3 because of why? Bouncin'. I mean, this song is just all-time classic. Definitely should be way more popular. Let me see how many views that has on YouTube, because I'm assuming there's been some deleted content of Bouncin', because the highest thing I can find of that on YouTube is a 700,000 view dance video made to it. Obviously, that's something wrong there. My point stands that it's underrated. The Lil B feature also is easily gonna cement this album as better than the original Bang 3. Speaking of, I do think the original Bang 3, like, if you know that you see the original track list, that easily would have been a 9 out of 10. But no, that's not what we got. Did not get the original Bang 3 track list, or cover art for that matter. That fan-made cover art, so much better. Anyways, I don't think the Eerie song is very great, but it's still a Lil B feature nonetheless. It's gonna be good. I used to have Tree in my playlist. Solid. Obviously, Big Gucci Sosa is better than anything we've listed so far, because there's a few songs in here from 2013. That means a 2013 Chief Keef verse. Solid 7 out of 10. And obviously, you would think the best song on here is Semi on Him, because that's just a classic and it's truly amazing. But his verse on So Much Money is just so raw. It's so 2013. When I was 8 years old, I personally had to put it higher. His verse on Darker is good, and I do like Gucci Mane's verse on Paper. Despite me not listening to Gucci Mane very much, I respect him greatly as he inspired the GOAT. I do have his song Servin' in my playlist. Anyway, if this whole album had Gucci Mane replaced with more Chief Keef verses from 2013 or 2014, I would probably give it higher. I'm sorry, I'm a hater. I don't mean it. It's just who I am. So forgive me, but still great. Mansion Music, which days before I was editing the slideshow, had got a new and improved cover art to that shitty old black and white one, because the creator of that cover art had some beef and was trying to sue Glow Gang, I don't know, for whatever. But this cover art here, Colorful Mula, has confirmed it is an old one he made back in 2018 before the release of the album, probably. Man, is it more visually appealing than the black and white one. I can't stop looking at it. Anyway, on to the actual songs. Belieber, Letter, both from 2013. I believe maybe one of them might have been from 2014. So that's gonna have a huge impact on the good rating of this album. By Playboy Cardi and Chief Keef. Obviously, great collab. Get This Money. I just had to throw that on after work recently. I don't know why. It was just in my head, and I was like, damn, I need to vibe to the song right now. With that being said, most of these are just pretty great songs. The other ones I don't listen to, but the ones that I do listen to make make this album good enough that I need to give it a 7 out of 10. Bang from 2011. Great improvement to the Glory Road. I'd like to add a side note that I copy and pasted the track list. I wasn't paying attention to what I was copying and pasting. Best song, 12 bars. I'll listen to this song just because I love the beat so much. I don't know who made it, but thank you. It's the best 12 bars song. Okay, well, excluding the one on Bang Part 2, it's the best 12 bars song that he's made. I know he has like 5 of them, but I gave this whole album a good re-listen Wednesday. He dropped that on Spotify for the 10th anniversary. Very hard, you know. I don't think he has an album or mixtape that is as hard as this. It's hood, you know, and obviously I don't have much experience in that area, so I don't listen to it too frequently. I don't enjoy it as much as other people might, you know. That's why it's only at a 7 out of 10. But keep in mind the Lil B remixes. Charlie Sheen freestyle. I believe there's another one. I know he remixed Swag Like Ohio in one of these, so obviously good idea on his part. Back from the Dead 2, we got a long hour and 19 minutes of songs that all sound the same, but regardless, it's not a bad sound. It just gets a little repetitive, but I can't complain. Where's Waldo? Dear? Who is that? Swag and Wayne. I mean, Swag was my favorite on this album. Now I was thinking like, wait a second, Finito was like one of the first songs that I was listening to back in like 2017. So I'm thinking to myself, how can I honestly say Swag is better than Finito when I just can't? I'm not gonna be I don't enjoy his popular songs. Some of them I do still enjoy, even if they get a little old. So obviously the best song this is still Finito, just considering that he produced it himself, just like every song on this album, and he made it into something that just got so wildly viral. Like everything about the song though was produced by him, and I think that that's legendary. Finally, Rich. I'm giving it a very well-deserved aging 9 out of 10. Best song on here. I genuinely think at this point it's Laughing to the Bank. Every song on here is good. Maybe the French Montana feature, that song didn't need to be in it. I'm not saying I don't like is my favorite because I was on Back from the Dead, so I feel like that's just a reuse. And KK is obviously just so legendary. I'm recently just randomly listening to Laughing to the Bank, not because it was on TikTok. I'm actually the one that put it on TikTok. I apologize for what I've done to the song, but I'm listening to it because I see this genius annotation by someone that I follow on that site. I don't know why. And it's saying that the maniac laughing that you hear in the background of the track, which I've always just never put much thought into, assuming that it was just like from some old movie clip or something like that, or just some hysterical laughing sound effect that you'd find in any sound effect compilation. It's actually just Young Chop in the stew grinding those laughs. There's just clips of him in the studio doing it. Legendary. So when I go back to that song and I listen to it, imagining that Young Chop is the one that's doing those laughs, it makes it so much better for me. Just like the production on this. Yeah, this song, you know, it goes on a little bit longer than it needs to, but I don't care because like the chorus is fire. You know, we should hear it 3 times. Gave me a real new appreciation for a song that I already liked. Back from the Dead. I'm sorry to I Don't Like, but I also had to put Save That Shit as my best song because I just doesn't get old. I mean, it gets a little old, but I don't know. They're really on like the same level to me. But it is true that I Don't Like put me on Chief Keef when I'd obviously already heard it, and then I go back to SoundCloud and I'm replaying this shit quality upload of I Don't Like to SoundCloud that's just like compressed and like so loud that I love it. I just love how raw it feels. I was just blasting that, just thinking that I'm a complete savage while listening to it. I don't know, maybe it should be there instead of Save That Shit, but both great songs. Once again, I copy and pasted the track list. I gave it a timeless 9 out of 10. It's honestly aging. I just don't think it's aging as bad as Finally Rich. Thot Breaker. As I said in the last one, there are no misses in Thot Breaker, which is surprising coming from a 2017 album where everything that came out of that year I just shat on. I gave a low score. For some reason, all the romantic vibes on this album just were really good compared to the really bad album that the other albums that he had that year. I do not think any of these songs are bad, which means that it's a 10 out of 10. It's supreme. Going Home is the best on here because I've put so many people that don't listen to Chief Keef on. I've opened their minds to exploring Chief Keef with Going Home. Everyone generally seems to enjoy Going Home. They add it to their playlist whenever they hear it. And obviously I was bumping it heavy in like the summer of 2019 when I was first listening to him. I put it on my Instagram page. I don't replay this album as much as I should, but I still know that it's
Girl, you is my baby. Girl, you is my baby. I got smoke some weed cause girl, you drive me crazy.
almighty so. Better than Thot Breaker. There is nothing that makes this album bad. Maybe the features on it weren't really hitting. And a few of these songs do feel like I wouldn't want to listen to them more than a couple of times. But the majority of these songs are incredible. Best song, Woulda Coulda, because a few months ago, I was just listening to that song over and over and over again. Although In Love with the Guap, I also kept bumping that over and over. But Woulda Coulda, those Halloween like laughing sound effects, they just have repeating over the beat. Like, oh my gosh, how was it so good? Just amazing. Simply incredible. Moving on to the #1 spot. You already know what it is. It's Bang Part 2. I know it's such a difficult competition with Almighty So. What is better? I have to say Bang Part 2 just because I think I personally listened to this album more. Like, you can't listen to too much and then say that Almighty So is definitively better than Bang Part 2, because I mean the DJ screams over these songs. Heard it, but I'm not gonna rank the album based off of that because that wasn't meant to be like something that ruins the whole album. I can't believe I said Gotta Glow Up One Day is the best song in my review from 2 years ago, but I also gave it like a ridiculous score. Same with Almighty So. I just had to culture myself a little bit. There are just so many songs that are honestly better than Glow Up One Day. Fuck Me, Chief and Keef. I just listen to All Time. As you can see, the background right here, the background of this whole slideshow is a frame from All Time that I darkened to make a good background for this slideshow. So obviously, it makes sense. It's the #1 best album. Undeniable. And that is all for the main releases that weren't compilations of leaks. You think I'm gonna skip those though? I don't know. You see, in my last review, I just mixed them in. It was disgusting. It was muddy. But no, I just divided that slideshow into 2 parts. One with the official albums and mixtapes that all had all new content, and the leak compilations / low files. And those are just leak compilations, dude. They weren't all made to be part of the same album, so I'm not gonna rank those in the main category. So we're moving on to the official leak compilations. Here's all the ones, and I ranked them all. Starting off, Caleb, what is the worst leak compilation posted to streaming services that Keef has dropped? It's the Glow Files Part 3. Oh boy, I just don't ever listen to this. And the best song, when I listen to it, and what I still think now, is TD, because the beat sounds good half of the song. The other half, it basically doesn't. I can't listen to this album. I'm pretty sure it's all like 2014 throwaways. Real sleeper. That's why I'm asleep. I'm in a 3 out of 10. Good night. Sorry, I just listened to Extra Glow. I gave it a yawn, 4 out of 10. Best song is Late for Dinner. If it wasn't for Late for Dinner, this would be a coffin. It would put me to sleep forever. But Late for Dinner just saves it. The Glow Files Part 1 gives a no 4 out of 10. Dipset, okay, good beat on that. Didn't I already give Long like the best song for like the Nobody album? I cannot believe this. A little bit ridiculous. Potato carried this album too. That's how you know it's bad. Moving on. The first leak we have on here at the lowest rating is Volume 5. I never listen to this. Wait, well that's not true. I do listen to Ya Know, because it's a good test for bass on my speakers. Ya Know is great. Not really many other songs on here are. So I give it an almighty, very good 5 out of 10. The Glow Files Part 2. When I look at this album, I don't see 45 minutes worth of songs. I see I Got. That's all I see, which is why I give it a thanks 6 out of 10. Thank you for giving me I Got. The rest of this album, keep it. I don't want it, but I do want I Got. So that's what gives this 6 points. She Like is also a good song, but in general, no. I listen to I Got. I don't listen to anything else on this album. It's kind of funny that 3 words save this whole compilation for me. I Got. The next trashiest leak is Volume 8, but it gave us Shifu and Running. So is it really trashy? No, it's just next lowest. I gave it thank you, I'm eating, nom 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 nom, because of Shifu and Running. Next up is the leak Volume 2. My favorite color might be purple, but I don't listen to this album much. I mean, I used to for sure. It just kind of grew a little bit old. I don't know why I gave the best song to April Fools. It's just a song that I was listening to the most at the time of editing this slide. First Day Out, I listened to that for a while recently. Whenever I go back to Macaroni Time, I'm like thinking to myself, this is always going to be a good song. Can I say there's a best song on this? I honestly don't think I can. They're all just great songs. Most of them. I mean, you got some like the Andy Milonakis ones. Like, I don't want to hear that. In general, good. I was definitely eating. We're getting into the good shit. The Leek Volume 3. Some misses on here that I don't really listen to. Definitely. But like, you got That's It. Bitch Stop Calling. Oh my goodness. Thoughts Going Crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a great review. And This Bitch from 2014. So good. I love that song. So because of those great songs that they put on here, best song would be That's It, just because it's like from 2013. Like, that's really the only reason. Do I think the Leek Volume 7 is better than the Leek Volume 3? It gave us High as Fuck. I mean, it put Jet Li on streaming, even though they made the beat skipping that at Gucci Mane. It was too long. They kind of ruined it compared to the original post, but whatever. 0 to 250. Fair, I was listening to a lot recently. I'm the youngest flexer, I know it ain't fair. Where I'm from ain't shit fair. Wet? I listen to Wet all the time. So basically, sure, it's probably better. Give it a 8 out of 10. But keep in mind, when I put Jet Li as the best song, I'm referring to the original SoundCloud Jet Li, not the streaming services. The Leek Volume 4, we just keep getting better and better, don't we? I mean, this has Kane, Run Up, Orange, Instagram. I feel like this one has some good consistency in it. I don't think that these songs are the best out of any of the Leek, but it's pretty good, pretty consistent. Probably not better than the last two that I put. It's just hard for me to say one is better than the other with these fire leaks. I Need to Smoke Some Earth, I'm Going Crazy, The Glow Files Part 4. I feel like this was a real hood sleeper because every song on here is good, but especially the 2013 ones. Crazy, Forever, Don't Wanna Be You. G-Unit's also great. Tomorrow. Between Don't Wanna Be You and Crazy, I had to give it to Crazy because I probably listen to that the most, but I do listen to the songs from this album decently often, and that's why I gave it a crazy 9 out of 10. Definitely would not be surviving the COVID pandemic if it wasn't for the Glow Files Part 4 dropping in March 2020. The Leek Volume 6. I slept on this. I didn't even know this existed for like the first year after I listened to all the other leaks. I don't know why. I might have skipped over it. Maybe it was temporarily off Spotify or something. I listened to this and I listened to it again and again. Okay, Kool-Aid, Silly, Congo's Red, Call Me What You Want, Have My Baby, Lots of Thoughts. I mean, these are great songs. Have My Baby is just legendary. I mean, everyone who hasn't listened to much Chief Keef needs to listen to this whole compilation. I've definitely put some people on Chief Keef with the song Red. They tend to like that. So this whole compilation is a blessing. 9 out of 10. Number 1 spot, the Leek Volume 1. I mean, it makes sense. The first one will be number 1, right? Consistency is through the roof. This has so many absolute classics that everyone needs to hear. And of course, I gave Who Would Have Ever Thought the best because of his verse on it. Listen to it.
Who would ever thought that I would be on myself?
Like, you can't listen to that without wanting to shed a tear at how good it sounds. Like, I'm not even that big of a fan. I mean, Future did well on this, but I wish Chief Keef had a longer verse.
I'm leaning on his edge, this shit got me falling over.
I've been cranking that recently. It's just great. 24 hours ago, I pull up to my granny's, because you know how I go. Either way, I end up thinking Save Me, because who would have ever thought the only thing my ops know is war, and they were out for my hundreds. So I ran out to my Aston Martin with all the colors in it, and I quickly had to close that door and pull up to the court where I was slam dunking, because after that bad experience, I had to make it count.